The 600 megahertz incentive auction that is likely the most complex auction ever conducted, certainly the most complex auction used by the U.S. Federal Communications Commission to find the best use of the radio frequency spectrum. From early 2016 through March 2017, it was used to incent television broadcasters to clear the upper UHF television band, channels 38 through 51, to make more room, more spectrum available for mobile phones and wireless broadband services. It sought to find the balance between supply and demand by having two interleaved auctions. In the first, the TV broadcasters bid down in price to find the minimum price the broadcasters would require to clear a number of channels. Then the buyers would bid up to discover the demand for that amount of spectrum. In multiple stages, the FCC decreased the target amount of spectrum until they found a balance of supply and demand with enough excess proceeds to fund the repacking of TV stations and provide additional funds to the U.S. Treasury. The multiple stages and multiple rounds took about a year to run and took 4 stages of decreasing amount of spectrum to find that the broadcasters required $88 billion to clear 21 TV channels nationwide. But the mobile operators only offered $23 billion, as the target amount of spectrum was reduced from 21 stations to 19. The broadcasters reduced their price to $56 billion, while the mobile operator buyers reduced their offer to a bit over $21 billion. A third stage to clear 18 channels reduced the broadcaster price to $40 billion, while the buyers reduced their offer further to $19 billion in a single round. It wasn't until the FCC sought to clear 14 channels or 84 megahertz that the TV broadcasters reduced their price to the low price of $10 billion. After 52 rounds, the buyers bid up to $19.1 billion. This satisfied the final stage rule for ending the auction. Then in March, the buyers further bid in sealed envelope style bidding which particular block of spectrum they wanted, raising the final proceeds in the auction to $19.8 billion. We can watch the auction on this map that shows how many bids were placed on each of the 416 regions that were separately auctioned off. The blue shows where there was more supply than demand, and the red and purple colors correspond to higher demand than supply. The green regions are where supply equals demand. At round 27 of stage 1, none of the top 40 markets had demand exceed supply, so a new stage was planned, requiring another reverse auction for the broadcasters. After 4 of these stages, the final stage rules were satisfied, and the auction proceeded through another 58 rounds until there were no surplus demand in any region and the map had no red regions, only green or a few bluish regions where there was insufficient demand. The forward auction ended at this round on February 10th of 2017, but there was an additional sealed bid auction for assigning the 7 specific blocks of spectrum. It took most of March to go through this assignment phase, ending with a 0.7 increase in proceeds to net $19.3 billion. 50 of the 63 qualified bidders actually won licenses in the auction, with T-Mobile shown here with the largest purchase of $7.99 billion in licenses in every continental region. Next, we see the total proceeds for each of the 7 blocks of spectrum, where we see that the band edges, blocks G and A, are lower in value than the middle blocks. Blocks C and D are valued 22% higher than G block. Finally, we see which regions each of the 50 winning bidders has won. Comcast, bidding under the name CC Wireless, has substantial holdings in 72 of the 416 regions. Dish and T-Mobile have nationwide holdings. Our favorite, however, is Spectrum Financial Partners, who welcome any inquiries.